Hi, everybody, and welcome. Suzanne with LifeWalk Coaching here. And today we have a special guest, and I am so excited to have her here with us today. Welcome, everybody. This is Suzanne with LifeWalk Coaching, and I want to thank you all for being here today. Today I want to introduce you to my friend and fellow coach, Rebeca Elizabeth. Rebeca is a life coach who specializes in working with single moms who've experienced trauma in their lives. I'll let her tell you more about her story and what she does. But meanwhile, welcome, Rebeca. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. This is so awesome. Well, first of all, you're awesome, and I'm actually really glad and lucky to meet you. I know that
Well,
you
thank
help a
you.
lot of people with balance, like you help moms maintaining balance with life and work, and it gets hectic, especially, when you've experienced trauma and you're not balanced at all,
Nope. Very true.
That's a little bit of my background. I mean, it's been quite a healing process. It's a journey. But I guess once I realized that that there was a way out, and that the way out started inside of me, in my mindset, then, it's been amazing ever since, because I know that I'm not restricted. When you're in a situation where you're experiencing trauma and you have no control, you feel like you have no control over what's happening outside of you, there's a sense of restriction. There's a sense of you feel like you're in a jail, like in the prison,
Mhm.
and for me, the way I can visualize it is that I was in kind of like a bird cage, but the bird cage was open the entire time. I could have walked out of it at any point, but I didn't know that I could, until I realized that the answer always lied inside of me.
So it was
And when
discovering that strength within yourself that you could do
Yes.
that.
And not only the strength, but the strategies, the mindset shifts, like all of those require strategies and have to be learned,
Mhm.
because these environments, these toxic environments, are your normal. These are you put yourself in these environments again and again because this is all you know, and
Right.
subconsciously this is what you're inclined to attract. And once I realized that, then I was able to make very conscious shifts in my life. And it's been a journey. For me, it started with making that decision of, enough is enough. I have this feeling and this urgency that there's something better for me out there, and I'm not living within my purpose. And I would have tons of dreams. I was such a dreamer. And I felt like this urgency, like I'm not doing what I should be doing with my life,
Mhm.
and I'm stuck. Like those are kind of like the main kind of thought processes that I had. I feel stuck. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And, I'm getting all these dreams and all this feeling, I don't know what to do with it. And when I got to the point where I said, you know what, like I need to realize that if I look at my life and all of these different attempts to make things better, I educated myself. I got, better jobs. I got multiple jobs. I changed relationships, but every situation was the same situation, just with a different face in a
Yep.
different place. But it was the same cycle.
So it
And
was
when I
that repeating
realized,
cycle that you found yourself in.
absolutely. And after a few of those cycles, and you're every time you're like, that's it. I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna do things differently. I'm gonna, things are not gonna be the same, right? I'm gonna do it like I'm going to work a different job, or work harder, or find a nicer person. And then you find yourself again in the same situation. And it's like, what am I doing? How did I get here? After a few of those cycles, I was like, maybe it's not the people around me that's the issue. Maybe it's not, that person or this situation or that situation. Maybe it's here. Maybe the issue is here.
Mhm.
That was the first step that I took. Like once I had that realization, I was like, wait a second. If the answer is here, that means that I can change it. that
Mhm.
aha moment of like, wait a second, if I could change it, if I can go in there and kind of go through the forest and the jungle of thoughts and the spider webs and all the
Oh my
toxic
goodness.
trash that's in there and clean that up, then I think there's hope for me and for my children. And that was the first realization in my situation.
And so is that part of the process that you help bring other women through, is coming to that realization that it's inside them. They can do this.
So yeah, so a lot of women, by the time what I mean, it's just so broad. There's so many different layers of it, right?
Right.
Even myself, when I finally got to that realization, that was the beginning of my journey. And it took so much work and so many more layers to reveal, and I'm still in it,
Right.
because there's always more. There's always more that you can strive for. There's always more that you could achieve. But by the time they get to me, what I want to help women do is say, look, you've made it. Like, you were able to be resilient and make it through so many different things in life because you unconsciously tapped into some power inside of you and you didn't know how you did it. So now I'm going to teach you how you could consciously do that again and again and again, and be the empowered woman that would never find herself in those negative cycles again, because now you know exactly what to do.
Yep. You know what to look for now and how to
Exactly.
dig yourself back out of that. That's
Exactly.
amazing. That's
And
really
not go in
awesome
it,
stuff.
not go in it again, because
Oh,
now
right.
you
Yeah. Just
know.
notice it from the outside before you even get there.
Exactly. Exactly. And obviously that's a very broad statement. It's a very loaded statement. It takes a lot of, I mean, it all stems down from mindset. Self-love is a big deal.
Mhm.
Having the ability to have proper boundaries, and you will
Yes,
only have boundaries when you learn how to value yourself.
exactly.
And when you can value
Exactly.
yourself and know that, yes, I love this person, or I love the idea of this relationship, or the idea of this lifestyle, but the reality right now is that it's just an idea, and I
Right.
deserve better, and I can stand up for myself, and there's better out there for me, or this situation, if I don't put a stop to this now by taking
Mhm.
very cohesive actions, and deliberate, and doing making deliberate decisions and creating these boundaries, then this situation is going to continue. I'm just going to continue
Yep.
to enable it. So it's just kind of showing women the way in different areas, in their mindset, in their relationships, their ability to manage money. A lot of women have given up that power to other people,
Right.
and they don't have that for themselves. So they don't have a very good relationship with money now that they're in a position that they have to, and
Mhm.
that they struggle. Really, and the mental health issue is a big deal, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
a lot of women don't
There's
know.
a lot of deep-seated, serious deep trauma in there when you've gone through that, when you've experienced that.
And it leads into physiological responses.
Mhm.
And women don't understand that what they're feeling is a natural physiological response to a trauma that they have. And then what happens is that then they're hard on themselves for feeling that way, or they feel guilt and shame, or it's just like it just compounds, the negative feelings compound. So it's more of saying, girl,
Right.
like, you're going through something hard right now, give yourself some credit and validate those feelings and those emotions, because they are natural. They're God's ability. God gave you that ability to survive. It's a survival
Yep.
thing. And now the issue is, now how can we get you out of that survival feeling and have consistent, repeatable strategies that even if you do feel that way and you do very specific things, you will be very successful. And that's what I help women with.
That's really awesome. So, with the focus of this channel being about life balance, now you went through all of that.
Oh yeah.
As a single mom with three kids, you have three boys?
Yes, I have three beautiful boys. They're over there in the background.
I know I love
Um,
seeing that picture every time we're online together. I love that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
So
so you had to get, find your way out of all of that as well, and still keep everything afloat, keep juggling, keep all the balls in the air. How did you do that? How did you keep, or not? Because sometimes, not every day. I mean, just because we're coaches doesn't mean that we are in balance all the time.
oh girl.
We we have our moments,
Yep.
but it's finding those tools to be able to get ourselves out of that. So tell me more about how did you do that? How did you get yourself to where you are now? You've got this, amazing business, this amazing space. I mean, tell me about that.
Well, like I said, it's in layers, right? So it started with me making the decision that I needed to change my mindset, and then having very deliberate actions towards doing that. I knew that I needed to heal. I knew that there was a lot of things, and I call it toxic waste. I said
Mhm.
inside of me, I could feel all this toxicity towards people, places, and things. And if I maintain this, I won't be able to thrive in the way that I want to thrive. So it's going
Right.
in there and doing the healing that needs to happen. And that is not something that happens overnight, right?
Right.
But there are very deliberate actions that you can take while you're going through the healing process. So, things like educating myself on finances, that was a huge thing. And then taking the actions, even though they were very, I had to be brave. They were risky for me
Mhm.
because I was so used to, I have graduate level education. I had no financial education. So I was in a very financially restrictive relationship, financially abusive, for several years. And what kept me in that situation was my lack of understanding of how to manage finances better, or mixing my emotional situation with my ability to manage my finances. So knowing and having specific strategies, and
Mhm.
again, practicing self-love. So for example, one thing that is imperative for you to do is pay yourself first. No matter what you have,
Yes.
how much, like if you get $10 an hour, or, $500 an hour, I don't know, you got to pay yourself first. Okay. Cause you work for
Exactly. Yes.
that. But what people typically tend to do is like, okay, I'm going to get my paycheck on Friday, and it's Tuesday, and I already spent my paycheck because I got to pay this bill, I got to pay the babysitter, I got to pay this, I got to pay that, I got to pay that, I got to pay that, and I got to get food. It's like, oh my God, like nowhere in there is like, okay, I'm going to pay myself first because I work for that, and I need that
Mhm.
sense of financial security.
Right.
That was one of the first steps that I took. And that was one of the scariest. And I had to tread, like, it was, I had to be very deliberate and consistent and tread very like carefully with that, because I
Right.
wasn't ready to pay myself 10% in the beginning.
That's
I was,
hard because when you're in a situation like that, and especially for so many years, you start to feel not deserving.
yes, yes. So that's when I
Everybody else
started,
needs to be taken care of first.
except for you. So then self-love comes into play when it comes to that, because girl, you
Mhm.
deserve to get paid first. So you love yourself, you pay yourself first. But in the beginning, I will be very honest, that was not my mindset. My mindset is, this strategy, I know it works because other people said it works. So I'm going to do it because they said it works. And then
Yep.
the self-love thing came after.
Right.
Okay. So this is why I say that healing is a process, but if you do very specific things while you're in your process, then
Hmm.
you would be able to do it all and compound it all, in the process. So,
And a
but
lot of
yeah,
that sounds like it's the law of attraction. It's like, once you start showing yourself love and believing that the universe is going to, okay, I'm going to pay myself first, but is there going to be enough left? Once you get into that mindset of believing that what needs to be there will be there,
yes. And
and
it's a
it'll start
process.
to show up.
It's a process because you won't believe in it. You won't believe that at first.
Right.
And one of the things with trauma and also the teaching of law of attraction and everything, because it's one of the things that I started to learn that started to help me. But why I do what I do as a trauma-informed mindset coach is
Mm-hmm.
that I know that one of the hindrances of, you know, the law of attraction is that whole idea of, oh my God, if I don't believe in it, then I'm going to attract the opposite and I'm going to stay in this negative cycle. And then you
Right.
have this fear that just compounds, and then you're afraid of having that negative feeling because now you're in a low vibe. And if I'm in low vibe, I won't manifest because I'm in low vibe.
Right.
So it's like, oh, girl,
It becomes a whole nother cycle.
you got some physiological responses to trauma. They are natural. It's
Yep.
okay for you to not believe. It's okay for you to feel freaked out right now. It is
Mhm.
okay because that's your body responding to all the stuff that you've been going through. However, if you do these very specific things, even if you don't believe it,
Yep.
over time, you will be creating these new neural pathways in your brain, in your subconscious, and over time, it will start being more natural to you. So that's how I started. Then, you know, building my confidence, building my, just starting very, very small, taking very deliberate steps and seeing massive, massive changes in a short period of time. And then after I became financially independent in a very short period of time, after spending 2 decades in a very constrictive financial situation that I could never get out of. And in 1 year, I was thriving. And it was like, what gets me is that it all happened when the entire world was having financial issues. And that was the best year of my entire life. The year
See,
that I
that's
got rid of,
amazing.
yeah, I got rid of tons of debt. My credit score went from like a 530 to like a 780. In 1 year, I had tons of money in the bank. I was feeling it, and the entire world was struggling. You know, everybody was losing jobs and stuff like that. And I was like, how is this happening to me? I don't know, but I'm going to keep riding this wave because it's pretty good. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. So that's just one of the things that I feel so passionately about, is that I was able to face these amazing successes, or have these amazing successes in the
Hmm.
midst of like the worst situation. So I know that this
Right.
stuff works.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's like you might start to question, like, oh my gosh, how is this happening? But just keep riding it. Let it
Just
keep
go with
happening.
it.
Just
Don't
go with it.
question
It's
it. Just keep
working.
going.
Keep it going. So how did you make the switch? And I'm sure this is part of like how you built a thriving business, but how did you make that switch from um getting yourself out of where you were to then helping other women do that?
Mm. That's a great question. So immediately, once I saw that, like that miraculous shift happen in my life so quickly in such a short period of time, because I followed very specific steps, I found my sense of purpose again. I said to myself, I have to help other women, because that's my purpose, is to help other people. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but I wasn't ready, and I wasn't ready then. And I said, you know, I want to be a coach. So what I ended up doing was I incorporated my business, and I knew it was going to be a service-based business, and I knew I was going to be helping people. I just didn't know how. Then I got my life coaching certification. I knew that's what I wanted to do, but I wasn't ready because I was still having a lot of interpersonal relationship issues.
Mm-hmm.
And those things would occasionally come up, and my finances or were, you know, I could see how the relationship were affecting my finances. I could make that deliberate distinction, that conscious distinction, in this toxic situation is happening in my life and my finances are being hindered right now.
Yep.
And so I needed to go through that. And in that process, I said, okay, I figured out how to be financially independent. I got my stuff together when it comes to, you know, handling myself and being on my own with my children, and not having any other financial support, because I don't have financial support systems from anywhere. Even their dad is not financially supportive. He never was. And so I was on my own. So I was feeling empowered. And I said, however, my relationships they kind of suck. Like, I need to figure this one out. Now, how can I focus all of these, like, do all this stuff, but now focus on relationships? Because I know the relationships is affecting my finances. I've reached a plateau and I know I can do better. I need to fix my finances. And that's when I hired a coach for myself. So I hired a coach, and that process helped me unblock that that situation, because I was able to now do the same things that I did for my finances, but I was able to do it with my relationships, and I manifested an amazing partner that in that process that I thought I was healed. I was like, I'm good. I manifested love. I manifested finances. I'm good. But he started to notice certain things in just the way that I was very hypervigilant. I was like, I had a lot of symptoms of PTSD at the time that I didn't know. And he started to notice that. So he was like, honey, I think you need help. Like, I think you need, and I was still connected to a lot of the toxic people in my life. I had not disconnected myself. And he noticed that. He's like, that person is not nice, right? That family member is not being very nice. I'm like, yeah, but they're family, and that's
Right.
just how it is.
Yeah.
So over
It's
time,
always,
it's
a
like,
lot of times it happens that way with families, like, because they're family, I can't cut them off.
exactly. And that pressure of like, I need to be this for that family member, that is my responsibility, but that family member is abusive. And they're very inconsiderate, and I'm already going through a lot of stuff, and obviously. So he started to notice certain things and point them out and say, I think you need help. So as he encouraged me to get help, I was like, I got this. I did all this stuff, and I've worked on myself. And then all of a sudden I hit rock bottom. When I realized that somebody that was really, really dear to me and my family was actually very, very toxic. And then I had like my entire life flash before my eyes. And I'm like, oh my God, every relationship since my childhood has been toxic. I've actually had childhood abuse, and I've been in all these abusive relationships. And then that's when I started to seek help and therapy. And I got a diagnosis and everything. So it's been a process. And that
and it's going to continue to be a process. And that's what we need to let everybody know. It's like, regardless of what it is you're facing, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a process.
It will not
and
happen.
That doesn't end.
Exactly.
Even today for both of us.
Exactly. But I needed to go through all of those components of my life to feel empowered, so that once I went through the healing and I went through therapy, and I realized, oh my God, I have some like legitimate mental health responses or situations because of the trauma that I went through, and I can process this trauma. I'm like, oh my God, now I'm ready. Now I'm full blown ready to help these women in every area of their life, because I get it. And that's when I started my coaching officially. It took like 2 years for me to get there, but I got there.
And so you're in a great place now. You've got a thriving coaching business. You've got a good relationship. You've got your beautiful children.
Yeah.
And so, and your life is busy.
Yes.
I mean, you're always on the run. There's always something going on. How do you keep that all together?
Girlfriend,
how do you keep from like, oh my gosh, I got to work on business now, but oh my God, the kids need me over here, and the dog has just dragged a bunch of mud into the house, and now what do I do?
I told you the poop story, right? But yeah, bringing poop in the house. But anyways, yes, like that requires structure, right? But it's very hard to structure your life if you don't have all of those other things in place, if you don't have mindset in place, if you don't have self-love in place, if you don't have proper boundaries in your life, if your finances are out of control, so now you're stressed out all the time, if you don't know how to parent your children in a way that is effective and is convenient for you as a single mom, like if you don't have all those things in place, then, you know, creating structure for yourself is not going to last. I can create
Right.
a calendar for myself and say, this is what I want to do, but not follow anything because I don't love myself enough. I don't value my time. I have toxic people contacting me all the time or stressing me out. Like, so it's all of the above. You know, you need
Yeah.
to have a balance in all of those different areas.
Right. So when you have all these other things coming at you that are just ready to derail where you're going, you're flexible enough. You've got all of the inner stuff already in place to be able to be resilient to that and say, you know
Absolutely.
what, I've got this. You can just step away, whether it's the dog
Or,
poop or the family
yeah,
member or whoever.
or this is really important, or giving
Mhm.
yourself the validation to take a moment and
Mhm.
freak out and take a
Yeah,
moment and just like take a step back and just process that. That is okay.
it's okay to have freakouts.
That is okay. And that is the part
You
that a
need that
lot of
sometimes.
moms, that is the part that a lot of moms like fail to realize. Like, I'm not allowed to freak out. I have to keep my composure. I have to keep going and going and going and going. And they're wearing
Mhm.
themselves down.
Right.
So if you, for example, so now I know that I have PTSD. I am learning my triggers, and sometimes I get triggered, right? I was on medication for a long time. And that helped me kind of ground myself until, and as I was able to also have all the necessary coping things that I needed, like therapy, that really helped me, and putting certain things together in my life, exercise, a proper diet, you know, sleep. So I do still struggle with sleep, and I sometimes have to take medication for sleep, but it's just taking those steps, like
Right.
little action steps to help you, whatever they are.
Right.
Everybody's is different. Okay.
Right. And knowing
You know,
what you need and being
I
open to using the tools that are out there for you to use.
exactly. So I could tell you, girl, get on medication, but that's not my business. Like, I can't, I can tell you what helped me. You know, I
Right.
can tell you
Exactly.
that this helped me for a period of time. I also have gotten to the point in my healing that I have like, I do everything in steps. So I say, okay, I'm having this anxiety attack. I'm going to start doing natural coping things like meditation, breathing. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to do, if that doesn't work, then I'll do something like I'll take something like I'll drink tea, like something natural. I'll drink
Hmm.
tea. Okay, if that doesn't work, then I'll pet my dog. Okay, if that doesn't work, then I'll take something else that's organic. But if that doesn't work, as my last result, my doctor prescribed this medication, and I'm going to
Right.
take it because I've reached. So it's getting to know yourself
Exactly.
and how you're reacting, and validate that. Like, I had this freak out, or I had this trigger that was done to me, whatever, earlier this morning. I had an argument with so and so, and it triggered me, and now I can't concentrate. I can't focus on my job. I can't do it. I feel crappy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a step back instead of trying to plow through. That survival mode is plowing through despite
Yep.
it. Instead of doing that, I'm going to take a step back and give myself the validation that I need. I'm perfectly validated. Talking to myself, I do mirror talk, affirmations, I
Hmm.
write, just things like that. And then taking the necessary things that you need to do so that you can come back to what you have to do. And sometimes if you have to take a day off, take the day off.
Yep.
Everything will be there the next day. Trust
That's
me.
very right. It's not going anywhere.
It is not going
But
anywhere.
you need to be a whole person in the moment in order to be able to be there for anybody else. And so,
Exactly.
like you said, learning the different steps that are going to work for you and just working through each of those until something hits.
Yes. And it's more of having somebody. This is why I help women, because a lot of women don't know what they need. Like, they just know they're
Exactly.
going through all this frantic stuff and they don't know what they need. So we need to figure out, what is it that you're going through and what are the options for you? Let's try out A, let's try out B, let's try out C, and then you find what you need. That's what all of these, even therapy, I highly encourage the women that come to me with trauma I highly encourage them to get a therapist, to get therapy.
Right.
And I had this one client. It's like, I don't need a therapist. I have you. I'm like, girl, I'm a coach. There's a difference.
Yep.
Okay. There's a difference. I'm not going to
Yep.
sit here for an hour and hear you crying about your stuff. That's not what I do. I'm a coach.
Right. That's not our strength. We can recommend another professional who is better equipped to help with that situation.
And it's not even about strength. It's about what the purpose of a coach is.
Right.
A therapist, you have an hour to sit there and let out a lot of those negative emotions. And it's an hour to feel validated, right? But when you're one-on-one with a coach, that's a waste of an hour. With a coach is, all right, I felt validated with my therapist. I'm going through all this crap right now. How can I get my outcome, basically?
Yep.
And as a coach,
What's the next step that I can take?
Exactly.
How do I get past this now?
Exactly. So therapy, I always put it as therapy helps you focus on past stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and coaching helps you focus on future stuff. So I'll sit here and I can hear you out and understand and come to you because I'm trauma informed. So I can give you some strategies to deal with your situation. But this is not 1 hour of you're just going to talk about your
This
negative.
is not your therapy session, right?
Exactly. We're going to talk about, okay, you went through this. This is what I recommend for you to do to handle this situation. Because that's what a coach.
These are the action steps.
Exactly.
The coach is going to call you to action.
You. And it's okay. What you're feeling is valid. And that is okay. And dedicate a certain amount of time in your day for you to let those emotions out. Right now, this is what we're going to do, girlfriend. We're going to do A, B, and C,
Yep. This is where we're going to take those steps forward now and move past this.
Exactly.
Well, this has been super awesome and amazing. I admire you. I admire your story. I just, everything about you. You're just, you're,
Aw, thank
you've
you.
just lifted yourself up. You're lifting up other women. And it's such a beautiful thing. And to know, that there is hope out there and to be able to share that with other women. Because a lot of times, trauma, these are things that people don't talk about.
Exactly.
They're kind of, swept under the rug, and it's like, nope, just stand firm, put a smile on your face, and like you said, plow through it. That's not what most women need. And so I'm so glad to have met you and know that, you can offer this. Like, I am not trauma informed. That's not, part of my toolbox, but knowing that there are people out there like you who can do this for women and they need it. Yes. And
thank you.
I love that.
Thank you. And the main driver for why a lot of moms, or every mom that I've spoken to, especially myself, their main driver for plowing through is their children. I need to look strong. I need to appear strong for my kids. But if you do not take care of yourself, then your kids won't have you.
Right. And it's also it's giving them the example of, it's showing them that it's okay to have a freak out, and then you can, work through it. Yes. And showing them that they can be strong within themselves as well, and teaching them that pathway, for as they grow and start facing things and, have to deal with all, what life hands them.
Exactly. And it's not trying to protect them or shield them from seeing you freak out. Them seeing you have a moment is also validating them and giving them the permission that they too can have a moment. What they need to see you do is, how do you cope and how do you get out of that moment? How do you go from having that moment to helping yourself? Those are the skills that you need to teach your children, so that when they are older, they know, okay, I made some, situations in life. I made some mistakes in life and I'm in this situation, but based on what my mom showed me, she was very resilient. And one thing that she always did was overcome. And she would do it like this, and like that. These are my morals. Right. So this is also, when it comes to parenting, also, our main driver is our children. My main driver to heal has been my children in every way. It has been. It was my driver to get out of the toxic relationship, the abusive relationship. It was the driver to be financially secure. And it has been the driver to heal. When I reached my rock bottom and I had very severe depression and anxiety and I couldn't function, I needed to get myself out of that so that I could be there for them. So it's always your children as the driver.
Yep.
You know?
They were that point of light for you to just
Absolutely.
keep going, stay focused.
Yeah.
Get it all out.
Make it your mission to heal, girl, because those kids need you. They need you. They need you
do.
well.
And you need you well.
Oh, hell yeah.
The world needs you well, because again, you know, you can't be there for anybody if you're not good in yourself.
Exactly. So. And but moms, we tend not to put ourselves first. But if you say, if I do this for me because my children need me to be healthy, then I'm doing it for them. And that could be like a motivation, if you have a hard time putting yourself first and you say, I have to put myself first so that my children can have the best version of me, because they deserve a mom that's not always anxious and stressed out. They deserve a mom that's not always, struggling with money. They deserve a mom that's not always like flustered or in these toxic relationships again and again and getting disrespected. They deserve this. And also, what example am I showing them by not healing or by not fixing this situation in my life? So it's always our kids.
Yep. Well, this was awesome. So I am going to put links to your Facebook page, your website.
Yeah, you can put links to my website. The name of my company is Rebeca's Beautiful Enterprise. My YouTube handle is Rebeca's Beautiful Enterprise. My website is rebecasbeautiful.com. My Facebook page is Rebeca's Beautiful Enterprise as well. So you can put it all out there.
Yeah, I'll put all those links down in the comments below, so anybody watching, y'all can find Rebeca and her beautiful self.
Thank you.
Seek the help and support that you need. If nothing else, all what we want as coaches is for you to reach out and get the support that you need. So that's what we're here for. But thank you again, Rebeca, for being here today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. You're a beautiful soul as well.
We'll chat again soon. We will.
Absolutely. We'll do this again. Thanks for inviting me. This has been awesome.
All right. Well, thank you. And I will see you next time. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And again, all those links will be below.
Thank you. And I'll see you next time.
All right. All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining me in this current episode. I love interviewing other coaches and just hearing their story, hearing about what they have to offer to all of you. What I also have to offer you coming up soon, coming up in January, I have a new 3-day mini workshop coming up. It is called Embracing the Unbalanced Balance in Your Life. And this is about taking control of your life, bringing balance back to your life to bring you more joy and more flow in your day-to-day life. Again, this is a free workshop. It's going to be here on Zoom. So, sign up now, reserve your spot. There are plenty of spaces available, but they will cut me off after a certain number. So make sure you get in there quick. I look forward to seeing you all then. The link will be below so you can register and save your space. And until next time, enjoy your life.